Good evening to all. As Jaideep has already told, I am Sanjeev Singh. I have served this sector for around 38 years. So I, on behalf of CBIP, would like to welcome all the participants for this program. This is online certificate course on renewable energy development, including grid integration and energy storage system. I have been told that participants have varied experience and they are from leading utilities, NTPC, DVC, Maharashtra Genco, multilateral agencies, ADB, then lead manufacturers and erecting agencies, academics, and consulting agencies. So it's a very diverse group, and the challenge for the faculty will be how to address concern of all. But the way the course has been designed, I hope that you all will take advantage of this and your concerns will be addressed in this course. The course through various modules will cover your solar power, where we are going to take the technology challenges, how to calculate load, battery systems for this, then PV module, how it is tested, etc. Then again, wind power, then wind turbine technology, components of wind turbine, how you can plan wind farm from planning to designing. Then also the financial part of this, financial modeling. Then energy storage also, what kind of energy storage are there? Then battery storage, hydrogen energy storage. Then role of energy storage in grid management, which is emerging a very key area in this in power sector. I think Anjali madam is there. She is versatile in this power sector. She knows anything, and as a regulator, she is doing a. She's also a sitting member in Punjab State Electricity Board, so she will be briefing you about how electricity sector has emerged, what are the challenges, kind of thing. And then we have also tried to cover some general modules wherein we will be discussing about the SCADA, the smart metering, how power is scheduled, inventory management is there, then how contracts are awarded, what kind of contract management are there. So with this, I'll request I think that as I've already told you that today the first session, and it will be taken by sector expert, Miss Anjuli Chandra ji. She is working as member Punjab State Electricity Regulatory Commission, who has very kindly agreed to take this module for you. So over to you, Jaideep. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. So today, as sir has told, that we are very honored to have Madam Anjuli Chandra for today's session, and she will be delivering lectures on power sector scenarios, including renewable. Just before I request ma'am to start the session, just brief about the madam. Ma'am Anjuli Chandra is a member at Punjab State Electricity Regulatory Commission, and she is a former CPSERC cadre officer and ex-principal chief engineer CEA. She is a gold medalist in electrical engineering from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology and MBA Finance from Punjab University, Patiala. She is certified energy auditor from Bureau of Energy Efficiency. During her stint at CEA, she worked around renewable energy sources, power survey and land forecasting, power system monitoring, project appraisal, and distribution planning and development. Prior to that, she served as the Executive Director, Tariff and Engineering for Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission. In 2006, she was awarded by CBIP also for meritorious contribution to power sectors. And in the year 2012, she was awarded for contribution of women to power sector by the National Council of Power Utilities. Apart from her many contributions in power sector, she was remained advisor consultant to the state of Jammu and Kashmir for APDRP Gurugram of Government of India. She has planned the distribution system of Jammu urban area, and she has also planned the sub-transmission distribution system of Thimphu and power cities at Bhutan under the aegis of Ministry of Power and Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. She has prepared the 19th Electrical Power Survey Report of CA, which is the base document for prospective planning of power sector for the next 20 years. So we are very fortunate to have you, ma'am. And
thank you.
I request to start your session. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My app is not supporting my video, but anyway, I can see all of you. So, good evening and welcome to this opening session on an overview of power sector scenario. So, before we start, can we have an introduction of the participants? Please start one by one so that I know what is it you want from me. So we can start with the introduction of the participants, please.
Please, anyone, you can start.
Anyone can start. It is not a structured thing. Please start. You can unmute yourself and start.
Jadip, you can name someone and then that particular person can say. That will
first, Mr. Aditya Tapkir, to start your brief introduction to me. Mr. Aditya. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mr. Aditya, can you hear us?
So that I know that.
Take the next one in case he's
Mr. Amit Saxena.
Good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
Good evening to all. This is Amit Kumar Saxena, working as an assistant engineer in Mahagenco. The main
yeah.
from this program is currently we are also into the renewable energy, and
Okay.
thermal power plant is one of the most carbon emission industry. So through this learning, how can, with the help of renewable energy, currently we are into rooftop
Yes.
solar energy also in progress to mitigate auxiliary power consumption. So we are I'm expecting some more ideas that we can take this as a learning, and same can be
Okay.
power plants
Yes.
also.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, this is Aditya Tapkir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, this is Aditya Tapkir. I'm currently working in Thermax Limited, Pune. So my interest was more into the renewable energy because
Yes.
Thermax has now also ventured into renewable energy on an OPEX model, specifically in solar energy. So I want to understand more about the current scenario and how we can have opportunities as an organization to grow.
No, not yet. Not yet. Yeah. Okay. Next.
Madam, good evening.
Yeah.
This is Pradeep Mandal. I am from Calcutta.
Okay.
Last 16 years, I am in distribution sector. In my name of the company is Everest Energy Limited, Calcutta.
Okay.
Right now, I want to learn something in renewable energy for my future scenario.
Yes. Next,
you,
please.
Good evening,
Yes, sir.
madam.
This is Bapur Mishra.
Yeah.
Bapur Mishra. Actually, I am working in Siemens Gamesa Renewable. Actually,
Okay.
I am having 8 to 9 year experience. Almost 10 year experience in the wind sector.
Okay.
Just now, actually, since last 6 months, I am into solar. So
Okay.
actually, my expectation in this course actually. I want to know more about solar and particularly energy storage is my energy storage and solar system, because I already know about
Yeah,
everything
you
about
already
wind
know
energy.
about renewable. Oh, okay.
Yes. So my expectation is something more into energy storage part and somewhat in solar part.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
Good evening,
Yes.
madam.
Okay.
This is
Yeah,
from
good
Malcha
evening.
Limited.
Yeah.
I was expecting regarding this solar and the battery storage system.
Okay. Yeah, this is a very long course anyway, but we will talk about that. Yeah. Next, anyone?
Yes, good evening, madam. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is
Yeah.
Chanakyapuri. I'm working in Siemens Limited in energy transmission solutions business, and
Okay.
my expectation is to learn about energy storage system and this solar power system.
Okay. Yes. Next. Anybody else? Okay.
Hi.
If,
Hello. Sorry,
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Hi. My name is Praveen Jagdale.
Okay.
I'm working for Oricon, and I'm pretty new to this renewable and grid integration. So probably I would like to know more on that topics.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
So how is Oracle connected to this grid, renewable?
Now, a lot of people are asking for new renewables as a secondary source of their energy into their to support
System.
the grid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the reason, I'm quite interested to understand how we can do it and how we can even export the energy back to the grid or
Okay.
something.
Okay. So you want to know about net metering or maybe captive power plant?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Ma'am, good evening to all.
Yeah, good evening.
Myself, Biswajit Biswal. Mainly, I am presently working in Enercon India Limited. That is renewable energy, mainly wind business.
Okay,
I am looking after the head BOP and substation transmission line.
Okay. Okay, you are looking after transmission.
Mainly power evacuation.
Okay, power evacuation. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Rohan here, Rohan Barge from Pune. I have 15 years of experience into thermal power plant designing consultancy firm with DCPL, Development Consultants Private Limited, for 6 years, and 5 years I worked with Acre Solution, MNC based oil and gas engineering firm. And now presently I'm into deep water engineering for Acre Solution. As our company is Norway based company, so they are diverted their they have set their targets of 2025 and 2030 to divert their oil and gas business towards renewable. So they have started 3-4 companies in the name of Acre, like Acre Hydrogen, Acre Solar, Acre Solutions, carbon capture. So I'm more interested into all this carbon capture, hydrogen technology, solar and wind. So this 4 I'm looking after it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Good evening,
Yeah,
everyone.
good evening.
My name is Gopal. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I'm a protection and control engineer, and I currently work with a consultant called Jacobs Engineering. So, so we work for UK and Australia projects currently on protection and control schematics, for substations and distribution, transmission and distribution substations. So they are there is an increasing trend in renewables like all over the world, and so I just want to know about the renewables and specifically about the protection and control impact of protection and control because of renewable addition to the grid.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay. So can we start, or is there anybody else? Okay, so we have a very diverse group of people with different expectations from this program, and I'm sure the program would be addressing all your concerns. At the moment, they have asked me to tell you about what is the power sector scenario today. So if we look at the power sector, we all know that electricity is the basic building block of economic development, and it is the most flexible form of energy and constitutes one of the vital infrastructure inputs in socio-economic development. And the consumption of electricity is again an important index of advancement of the country and standard of living. So, we are now in the midst of a fundamental transformation. We have growing demand for electricity, dwindling fossil resources, and we are facing climate change. All of you know that there has been global warming, and we are, facing the challenge of having dwindling fossil resources. Also, that, if we use the fossil resources of another country, we may import coal, we may import petroleum, we may import gas. but ultimately these are dwindling resources. So the challenge is how to meet this growing demand for electricity in a sustainable manner. And that is why I think all of you are here, that you want to learn about renewable energy so that we meet the growing demand for electricity in a sustainable manner. So, in a traditional power system, it was the generation to the transmission and then to the sub-transmission, primary distribution and secondary distribution. There was not much concept of distributed generation or, generation by renewable energy sources. We had traditional generating sources. What were if anybody may answer, what were the traditional generating sources which we had before all this about renewable started around 20 years back? What type of generation did we have?
Coal-based power plant. Thermal power plant.
Mainly thermal and hydro.
Yeah.
Thermal and hydro.
Gas.
Yeah, thermal and hydro.
Nuclear and gas.
Yeah, thermal, hydro, nuclear. Gas was considered part of thermal. Gas or diesel or coal was considered part of thermal. So we had so we had hydropower energy, and that was considered as part of the conventional sources. Now I have shown hydropower energy under renewable energy, because now the government is classifying even large hydro as renewable energy. Earlier, only hydro, which was less than 25 megawatt, was considered renewable energy, and big hydro stations were considered non-renewable energy. Is it okay? So, the conventional generation was a blend of thermal, hydro, and nuclear sources. And coal-based thermal power plants, and in some regions, hydropower plants have been the mainstay of our electricity generation. Oil, natural gas, and nuclear power accounts for smaller proportions of power. So emphasis was also being laid on non-conventional energy sources: solar, wind, biogas, biomass, and tidal. And captive power plants were also being encouraged to supply surplus power to the grid. Around 2000, up till 2010 or so, even up till 2013-14, we were short of energy. We were short of power plants to generate energy. Our demand was outstripping the supply. So we were encouraging captive power plants to supply the industries to install captive power plants and then to supply the surplus power to the grid. So what do we understand by a captive power plant? When I say a captive power plant, can anybody answer me what is a captive power plant?
It's an in-house generation for any industry.
Yes.
Process
but
industry.
When is it classified as a captive power plant? It can also supply to the grid. So is there any cap on what can be classified? Can you generate, use 10% and supply 90% to the grid? Anybody? What is the difference between an independent power producer, or that means a power producer which is in the private sector, and a captive power plant?
IPPs, what we call as independent power producers, they generally give it back to the grids, and captive power plants maximum megawatt they utilize for their own industry, and 10% or 20% of the generation they have to give it to the grid. So basically captive is more to the confined within their own industry. They don't supply. Yeah.
Okay, yes. But what is the general definition of captive power plants is any power plant where you consume 51% or more of the power generated, then it is a captive power plant. You can supply the rest to the grid. You can even use 100%, but you cannot use less than 51%. And secondly, you have to have 26% of equity in the power plant. Then only it becomes a captive power plant. Okay, it is captive to the industry, which is using, or group of industry or group of cooperative society, where 51% of consumption is utilized by the person who sets up the power plant. Then it is classified, it gets certain benefits, so it is classified as a captive power plant. Okay, so that till about 13-14 we were encouraging captive power plants to be put up. Is it okay? So that they could supply surplus power to the grid. So this is like a thermal power plant. You must have all seen thermal power plants. Some of you have also worked in a thermal power plant. Then a hydro power plant. This is the picture of a hydro power plant. This is a pumped storage hydro power plant, Teri Dam and hydro power plant. So we'll come to what they are. So if we look at the installed capacity in our country, so at the time of independence, we had 1,362 megawatt. Anybody has an idea what do we have now as the installed capacity of the country, generating capacity?
Madam, it's about 400 gigawatt.
Yes, 4 lakh megawatt. Okay. So, that has grown over the various years. Like you can see, around 31st March 1985, we had 26,680 megawatt. Then, end of March 20, we had 37,0048. And today we have around 4 lakh megawatt. That is, as on 31st March 21, we had 2,151 megawatt, and I have given what it is. RES has been considered as on 28/2/21. Otherwise, I'll tell you what was the renewable energy sources as on 31/3/21. But when CEA gives the data, it takes 1 month prior. That is why this All India capacity as on 31/3/21 includes renewable energy sources as on 28/2/21. So we had about in 1st of April 3,82,000 megawatt, and I've given what has been the breakup of coal, lignite, gas, diesel. They are considered thermal, and total is around 2,34,728 in the country. Nuclear is around 6,780 megawatt. Hydro was 46,209, and renewable energy sources were around 94,433. Now they're almost 1 lakh. So if you look at the mode-wise generation, you can see the difference between the various. Nuclear is minuscule, and then we have total capacity. Captive as on 31/3/2021 was 54,932 megawatt. So we had a substantial amount of captive power generation. Earlier it was mainly thermal and especially coal, but now we have solar power plants also as captive power plants. We do have very small biogas plants as captive power plants. So now this captive power plant also includes solar and biogas and such like renewable energy sources. So if you look at the mode-wise capacity, then thermal is around 61% of the capacity, not the generation, but the capacity. Nuclear is 2%, hydro is 12%, and 25% of the installed capacity is now renewable energy sources. So you can well imagine that we are growing by leaps and bounds, and that is why your interest also in renewable energy sources. And you can see if you look at the pie chart, what is coal, gas, diesel, nuclear, hydro, and renewable energy sources. And if you look of the breakup of thermal, also then coal is 53%, lignite is around 1.73%, gas is around 6.52%, diesel is 0.13%, as you know, you would like to phase out all diesel. Nuclear is 1.77%, hydro is 12.09%, and renewable energy sources is 24.71%, or as I said, around 25% of the capacity.